So one of the common questions I get all the time is, a doctor will say, well, should I do it because it might be negative and now it'll go against me? That's a real common question I get. And here's the answer. You don't start with a pot of gold and then the money is decreased. You're not starting with $100,000 and then the tests that are negative, they start subtracting $100,000. That's not how it works. You start with zero. And you got to do everything you can with sensitivity testing to find it and put the pieces together. And if you have a test that's negative, so be it. Go get all your other tests. That's the answer. Does that make sense? Do the test not for fear of decreasing something you don't have. You haven't won anything, and you're already afraid of losing. Do you see that? No, I'm not going to be afraid of doing the test. I don't care if a test is normal, because what is my care based on? It's never based on what? One test. What is it always based on? Mechanism of injury, injury magnifiers, subjective findings, hybrid findings, and totally objective. So guess how many tests I don't care that are normal? If I got all of those findings. That's all I want. I want all of those categories covered. That's what I want. I don't care how many of them were normal. Does that make sense? Because you're not starting with $100,000 and taking it away as a test is negative. So don't do any tests so we can keep $100,000. No, it doesn't work that way. You're starting with zero, buddy. You better pay attention to high probability tests that are more likely to be positive. So you're actually getting more accurate and probable tests. You better be paying a lot more attention to what are called high sensitivity testing. So you have a higher probability. The problem with chiropractors typically is they do low probability tests and low sensitivity tests, so they have a ton of normal tests. And all the tests that are positive, they didn't do high sensitivity probability testing. And so they don't have the documentation. And now you got your low ball offer. That is classic chiropractic documentation. That is not what we do. That is not what is taught. No, do all your tests. Find your mechanism of injuries. Find your injury magnifiers. Find your correlative subjective findings. And I want to stay focused on what? High probability, high sensitivity. That's where I'm going to have the highest likelihood of finding the test and putting them together in all of those categories, including subjective, hybrid, and totally objective. I don't care if there's 1,000 negative tests. If I got mechanism of injury, injury magnifier, subjective finding, hybrid, I don't care if there's one in every category and one objective. I don't care. I got all categories fulfilled. I've got MMI with that patient, and I can prove it.